is a bed that I'm just working on. Let's see, I'm throwing my kitchen scraps in there. Had some moldy oranges to throw out. Also piling up my the weeds that I've pulled off my vegetable beds to get them ready. So I pile them up here. Eventually I'll cover this all with mulch, and it'll be a nice bed to plant in. This one is at an early stage. As this one, you can see I'm still piling up dead branches there. That's the start. Over here, this is a little bit more formed. I've been piling up sawdust and wood chip mulch on top of the sticks that I put on there before. And I think after one more application this year, I can plant on and around the berm there. This, at the head of the upper loop trail, is a new daffodil bed. You see, only a few of them bloomed this year because I just planted them last fall from wild daffodil bulbs that I dug up down closer to the cabin where I was doing some digging to get another bed ready. So I saved them all and planted them in this new berm last fall. This berm made the same way. I just piled up twigs and branches and then covered that with a lot of sawdust and wood chip. I also get rid of some of my household paper waste that way. Stick it in there, pile up some mulch on it. And then when I planted the bulbs, I just dug a hole for the bulb, threw in some of my humanure compost, and stuck the bulb in. This spring they all came up. Next year, they will all have flowers on them, hopefully. This year I just got a couple of little ones. Alright, moving on. Some other beds newly started. We go through one of the tree gates. We just call these the tree gates when you're walking between two trees in a parallel line. One of my cairns that I've just started. Now we're going to start to see some of the interesting things that begin to happen in the woods when you first undertake to manage your woods. So my woods have been mostly oak and cedar, young oaks, and young scrubby cedars. And I've been moving those cedars out, using the cedars as kind of a backbone of the trail that I'm making. You can see where I've laid one of those cedars down to kind of manage a berm that I'm creating there that eventually I'll be able to plant on. In the meantime, I've been disturbing the forest bed and pulling out greenbrier and this privet that grows wild and nasty. I've been mowing that down, pulling it out, and it starts to go away. It starts to die back as I fight it, and in its place, as I disturb the leaf cover, the leaf mulch that's naturally there, the soil starts producing new things, better weeds. This started popping up last year, really the year before that, but last year in force. These started popping up. It's a wild, I've heard it called Russian comfrey. If you garden much, you're probably familiar with comfrey. Comfrey is a good soil additive. It's also a good feed for ruminant animals. And this is a wild variety. I'm not sure if it is as beneficial as the cultivated comfrey, but I think it's a good sign that my forest soil is changing as I've been creating these berms, redirecting water flows. I'm changing the dynamics of the forest floor, and as I remove some of the trees, I change the dynamics of the sunlight that filters through to the forest floor. Things still haven't quite budded out yet. We're getting some. This is a little tiny beech tree. It's leafing out on me. This area I call Sunset Hill because this is the west side of my property, and this hill tends to shelter me from the sunset. I get really good sunrises over on that direction, southeast. But then by the end of the day, the sun sets behind my hill. So this I call Sunset Hill because this is the only spot to really get a good view of the sunset. Let's keep walking and we'll finish the upper loop trail. See, this is a big rocks. I got a lot of big rocks on my hill here. Take a look at that. Spin around, don't get dizzy. So this comes down around the back of the house. This is the part of the trail I use most often. Coming up through another tree gate to the back of the house and my kitchen door. And now this, underneath this oak, I'll show you the oak. Big beautiful oak, and this is a really shady spot that through a combination of my activity and then just natural activity, I have gotten a variety of really pretty wild plants and flowers growing in there. Come up. I think these are some wild irises. Spiderwort. Daffodils. Tulips starting to fade now. That red that you see right there in the center frame, it's columbine peeking through. You can see where my rain barrel is supposed to go in my messy back porch. That is the Upper Loop Trail.